All right, everybody, welcome to the Big Hugo Show. Finally, the time has come, Mr. Joe Frescas.
Thank you.
AKA the Fresh Prince.
Thank you, Victor.
All right, brother. So we're here. We're actually outside of Sabor, downtown El Paso. Shout out to everybody here. It's been an awesome vibe. You've actually just been the chef here for how long?
I would say going now to 4 months.
4 months.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So the vibe's great and everything. What's the best part about working here, brother?
I would say my coworkers and the guests.
Okay.
By far. My coworkers, because we're reciprocal, we help out each other, and then the guests are also reciprocal, coming up to us and saying thank you. That was a very delicious meal, or just thanking us overall for the service. It's been coming back from New York and working back in my hometown of El Paso, Texas. That's been rewarding in itself.
So, what was it that got you into chefing, bro? Like, what was it that you were like, fuck, this is it. This is what I want to fucking do.
I would say when I started at 18 working at Krispy, I opened up the first Krispy Kremes here in El Paso, Texas.
Oh shit, the one on the east side?
Yes, the one on the east side for the one owner, Pedro Zaragoza. And then after that, working at the same time at Johnny Carino's. Shout out to all the Johnny Carino's fam. And one of my very first chefs, his name was Kiki. The guy was 4 foot tall, but the way he would move the kitchen was this dude was like 8 or 10 feet tall. And I remember the first time that I started working as a prep, he told me, "Pinche Frescas, your blood moves like oatmeal. I need you to move faster." And I was like, okay. And then I was in charge of a huge prep kitchen in the back. Right now, where the Rudy's Barbecue is on George Dieter and Rojas, that thing was like 25, 30 feet in the back. I still don't know how I did it because I didn't know anything. But I had to poof bread, make the sauces, prepare meatloaf, prepare everything that was consistent in that menu for almost like 3-4 stations.
Okay.
And sometimes I would stay by myself. So I got to learn a lot, and I'm really grateful for Kiki for El Kiki Spice for showing me the way and motivating me. And then of course I went into sales, worked at T-Mobile. Then we had a construction company, but there was always this thing where I would go to restaurants and just see the people working, and looking at the line cooks. And looking at the chefs, and it's like, man, I want to go back. There's this thing like I didn't want to have regret. So I went back into it, and although it doesn't pay, a 6-figure salary yet, it's more of the accomplishment of that you were able to create a masterpiece, and it all came together, and not only that, but people got to enjoy your work.
Yeah. Well, I think there's something more important to it, dude. Like, I didn't really care much for cooking myself. Like, I never really. But then when I started cooking, when I became a dad, that I had to fucking cook,
Facts.
Then it became to where like, oh shit, this is dope. Yeah, it feels like, oh dude, I created this masterpiece. And then just seeing the reaction when people eat your food,
especially your kids,
Yeah.
They're like, yum. And then they look at you like, Daddy, this is delicious.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
But
like,
you see that they're my kids, so like when you see other people that you've never met in your life, and you see them enjoy it, you see them, just love it. And some of them, I'm pretty sure, have come up to you and, hey, thank you, whatever. And some may not, but the word spreads through where, hey, go to Sabor, dude. The food is fucking awesome.
And you as a parent or any parent, don't ever underestimate, because you're starting memories. And I think because of the grind, a lot of parents forget that even though if it's a simple quesadilla or frijoles,
Tortilla
and because
con mantequilla and
whatever, and because you and I grew up almost in the same kind of like 9 to 5ers, dad and mom, and where they barely they even had time. I want to cuss to cook for you. It's honestly, you can't. I want you to really appreciate those memories, because
of course.
Now you're able to give it to your kids.
Yeah. So okay, you did, you love it, bro, and that's
Yes.
awesome. Like I love hearing, and this is why I wanted to do the interview, because I know you enjoy what you do, and that's why I want to put that passion on here. You know what I mean? And so I know the path. I know the path of working in the restaurant industry is hard, bro. I did it for a while. I don't want to say I didn't hack it. I didn't have the love for it, so I needed to bounce from there, right? So besides the food, besides making that creation, what would you say would be the top 5 things that a restaurant needs to do to be successful?
My top 3, definitely, you have to be grateful each day. Grateful each day that you have people walking in. Grateful that people want to eat, and especially that even walk in through that door. I cannot express that as much. And then second, the hospitality, man. You have to.
It's huge.
It's huge. You have to smile. You know, everybody goes through things, but you know, how are you gonna put food on the table if you don't smile? You know, it sounds very simple, but that's a key element, because you never know what that person's going through. You know, whether you're serving water or whatever it is you're doing. And then the third one, I would say, is family. You have to have a sense of family wherever you're working at, whether it
Like
be
a family work environment.
exactly, where you're working, or at a McDonald's to a 5-star hotel, man. Like, you have to acknowledge that sometimes you and I, Victor, may not get along, but if you put that aside and you're noticing the things that we're doing together, like I'm cleaning your tables, you're cleaning my tables, and you're noticing that the ultimate goal, and I think that sometimes that gets lost in working in the industry, that the end goal is not, it's tips, but at the end goal is for that client to make their day, and maybe they come back.
What's the customer experience? And I remember I used to work at Verizon for a while, dude. They took us to a seminar in Orlando, right?
Oh, wow.
And they took us there because it was called the Disney Way, right? Or something like that. And it was like, you would never go to Disneyland and see Mickey Mouse fucking smoking a cigarette, you know, or drinking without his hat and shit. Like, everything is up front is the experience, bro. You don't want to give anyone a bad experience. So that's really what it is. Like, don't you hate going to a place, like you go to a department store and fucking the employees are fighting, or the employees are fucking eating there, and you know, like
the sidebar conversation, they don't care anything about you.
Exactly. Not knowing that the customers are listening to you, the customers are acknowledging this kind of behavior, which turns people off, you know. And but I totally agree with you. The experience should be number one for the customer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
And they took you to that thing, the Disney Way. Food, drinks, everything included.
Oh yeah.
What did you take from it? And not only that, but what do you take from that experience that you use now in your personal life or your professional life?
Well, it's more professional, and it's that, man. It's knowing where you're at. You're right. Like, if you're at home, then you're at home, but you never bring your personal life into home, dude. No matter how bad it is, you know, like. And not everybody can do that. Not everybody can balance it. Not everybody knows how to detach from it. It's the gift, bro. It's a gift to do that. And
it is,
for the people that can do it,
hard.
Dude, like, fucking my house just burned down, but I gotta go to fucking work, you know, and you gotta be there and not be like, my house burned down, you know. You still gotta be like, hey, how's it going, sir? Welcome to whatever. And you just have to have that experience. If you want, I think the experience creates the tips. The experience creates the customers coming back, you know, and that connection you have with the customers. If your goal is to get tips, that's the way to do it. Just the connection.
I'm glad you're really bringing up the story, and it's amazing how the universe brings everything together. Escoffier, who basically is the father of now what we have in the hotel industry. He's the father of the culinary world, because he set standards of hospitality. This is the reason we have hotels like this. So after, I think it was World War II, when all the chefs had gone to war and some of them didn't come back, Escoffier was open. Everybody was coming back to the hotel. Everybody was spending money. The only problem is, just like right now, like after COVID, he wasn't getting all his merchandise. Everything wasn't coming in. So He's like, okay, and he's like, had like 200, 300 guests. What do we have? They had like lamb legs. They had like roast beef. So, and don't quote me on this, but he's like, okay, I have these 300 guests. What can I give them to eat? Bear in mind, this guy was used to a grand gala, like huge tables, man. They would set up, and it would be like 4 or 5 course meals.
Mm-hmm.
For the first time in his life, he was like, I can't give him all that experience, but what matters the most, what I took from that is as long as you come through for the guests. Yeah. So, anyways, he ended up making meatballs to serve to these to all the clients. Mm-hmm. You know, it was after World War II, and it was a logistics failure that he wasn't able, and also monies that he wasn't able to give 4 or 5. But that didn't matter because we just won the war, you could say.
Yeah. And
people just wanted to party and wanted to have an experience. So where am I going with that? Is that the only thing that matters, and Chef Michael from 1700 helped me out with this because he worked at the French Laundry. And I asked him, what he learned, at the French Laundry. And he says, the ultimate goal is that everything might not go right, but as long as you come through, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
That for me means the world. And that's exactly what Scofier did. He got these meatballs, and he was only working with like a quarter of a crew that he was used to, but he did it himself. I think he was like in his 70s,
Mm-hmm.
60s or 70s. And there's some controversy to his name. Yes, I understand. But nobody ever thinks about those little moments where he actually came through and he made the guests feel welcome, and that's all. At the end, that's all we want.
It's hard, bro, because you're gonna have those guests that are fucking just dicks.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm not saying
they're gonna come in with like, oh, do this, do that, dictating. Yes. You're gonna get. So I totally understand. Like I said, I've been in that position. I've worked that industry for a while, and it sucks. We talked about it earlier. A lady like, oh, paso están,
Yes.
Paso están, paso están. And she's right, and they're right, Yeah, dude. There's people that are there to clean, but you got to treat people nice, and that goes out for everybody, Like, be nice when you go out to eat.
Do treat the people like you would treat your cousin or your mom or your dad. And then of course you and I talked about this, working in the Hamptons.
So how was that, dude? And just for my viewers, like,
sure.
You went from here to New York, bro.
Yes. To give a shout out to my head chef David, who brought me out there, who believed in me, who I was. Well, first of all, it's all these movies that you see where people are up in the clouds and are living really on a whole different economic level.
Thanks,
it's true. Thank you. It's true. You have these people that own houses that you have 2 whole blocks, bro, before you get to their house. I was culture shocked also because for the first time in my life, I found out about what's called a mansion manager. Mansion manager.
What the hell? What is that?
Okay, so a mansion manager basically is like a manager for the wealthy, and they take care of the landscaping, the chef, make sure everybody gets paid, first of all, and they manage the estate. The estate meaning the home. That's it. Not the other estate like financials. For that, they have a wealth manager, which I met another wealth manager that handles a heavy portfolio. That was a fucking awesome, beautiful person. Shout out to my friend Denise. I fucking love you. So that was a culture shock. But you have to remind, I went there when COVID was there. So then I had to, after the season ended, I got a job at IGA. Let me give you an example, right? For the viewers, I don't want to bore you. For the first time in my life, I got to see wealthy individuals. I'm not talking about like the new rich, Bugatti, like Lamborghini. No, I'm talking about the wealthy individuals where the guy has a captain's hat and they're both wearing white, and it's not after Labor Day. And this lady comes up to me and she goes, "Pardon me, sir, how do you work this? And she's holding up her debit and credit card. And she's like, I've never done this. I apologize. Very humble, beautiful lady. And I'm like, and I thought she was joking.
Yeah.
And then I come to realize that she wasn't. She goes, I do apologize. The help left to Colombia and they haven't come back. So now
I gotta do shit myself.
Yeah, we're here at the supermarket, IGA in Montauk. Shout out to my homies there. And I thought she was joking, but no, she was being serious. So I processed everything for them, and then I show them how to work the card. But
what the fuck?
That for me, Victor, that was like, this shit really exists. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's all money. It's the term. Right? Like,
Facts.
Fucking people that became rich, fucking with oil, with fucking whatever it is, but it's all money.
And I was like, you know, when you see these movies and these people up in the clouds and the way they live, I could see where they're disconnected from regular folk like you and me, bro. Yeah. You know what I mean? From having a soda and a burrito and Juarez or here, you know, anywhere and just chilling, bro. But at the same time, I also saw, I was like, and she goes, and they go, well, we have 8 kids, but they live abroad. And I was like, and no one can help you. And they go, no, you know, they're off living their life. Yeah. But for a slight bit in their eyes, bro, you know, you could tell that they would trade all the money just to have that opportunity.
Somebody there, yeah. Older, bro. You get older, and it's like you would do like what's the saying, right? Like you're born alone. You're born alone. You die alone.
Yes.
So that's why you can't be a dick, bro. Like you gotta be nice to people, you know, because then I think karma just it comes back. You know what I mean?
Karma, but at the same time, it's like when I noticed these wealthy individuals and they would trade anything back just to have at least one of their kids go shopping with them to the store, you know, take them to do basic stuff. Then it's like, you know, that's the only reason I also came back to El Paso, you know, just to be here with my daughter and my family. But then it's like I really also miss my family up in New York, you know, my other friends, because that's another thing in this industry, man. You make family. Yeah, like I made family, man.
Well, in some instances, you spend more time at work than with your actual family, dude. So yeah, you do develop this like family atmosphere to where, you know, you see them as a family, you know.
You said we spend more 12, 14 hours sometimes a day. You know, because you want to provide for your family.
Yeah.
You know, so I've been very fortunate in that. And then, you know, living in Montauk, living by the beach, bro, like I still have my apartment there under my name. But anyways, it's downtown Montauk. And the only reason I got it was because working at IGA and through my friend Deborah. And it's not my wealthy friends, it's not my, you know, who you know, no. It was my coworker who got me the place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just basic folk like you and me, sometimes that just help out each other, bro. And to this day, it's like, I still can't imagine that I got a place in downtown Montauk, bro, because it's hard.
Yeah.
And it was a blessing. But I will tell you this, you know, being Mexican-American, being from Mexico, we have a guaranteed job, you know, in New York, bro. As soon as they see that, where you from? You're from Mexico? I get you a job.
You know what I've been noticing too, though, bro, is the Mexican culture is becoming way more mainstream, bro.
Isn't that amazing?
It's crazy because now look, crazy. Like music wise, you got you know, it's not really, he's not Mexican,
Peso,
but Peso Pluma, you have,
yes,
you know, and then you have just the food in itself, and then the most important, dude, and that sometimes I kind of didn't appreciate is the values, bro.
Facts.
The values.
Facts.
You know, the values of fucking family.
Yeah, take care of your old. Mm-hmm. You know, watch over your grandma and your grandpa. Don't disrespect your grandma and your grandpa.
Yeah.
You know, don't be yelling.
It's just hard work.
And then
hardworking, you know, hardworking people.
Hardworking people, and then also just like, granted, we didn't, because we had parents 9-to-5ers, but when we saw each other or when they did your birthday parties, like, that was a beautiful thing that I took for granted as a kid.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't see it till you get out in the world and you actually see that there's no other kind of people, bro. Like there isn't.
No,
there isn't.
No, there isn't.
And it's kind of fucking amazing, to be honest with you.
Well, I don't want to say.
I think we gotta be careful, bro. Gotta be careful because I feel like black culture, right? I think it was hijacked, right? Because black culture is a beautiful culture too. I think it was hijacked and it became mainstream, and then it was used against them, bro. Facts. And I feel like that can happen to Mexican culture as well.
Well, I was seeing this older African American gentleman, and he was speaking to that after slavery ended, how in black culture there was a mother and a father at the home, mm-hmm. and during after slavery there wasn't any robberies. Old people didn't get robbed, mm-hmm. and I would say the central nucleus was always having a mother and a father, especially the father in the house. So, talking to that respect, and I've seen it also. I don't want to be stereotypical, but I've seen it in Italian homes up in upstate New York. Shout out to all my Italian homies. That they kind of have like the same Mexican culture we have, and also I would say my Irish friends, and believe it or not, the Russians too, man. They're very family orientated. So I don't want to just say that it's just Mexicans.
I'm just seeing it everywhere now, bro, and which is cool.
Growing up in the '90s, I for myself, I wanted to be, I wanted to be in a hip hop. I wanted to be African American. I wanted to blend in, and to see it now, to go 360 with our Mexican culture, it's really shocking.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, bro. Like growing up, it was all hip hop, like Ice Cube, Snoop Dogg,
yes.
And I was like, fuck, I would even dress like them, and it was that black culture, but it was hijacked, bro. Yes. It was hijacked to a negative way,
Yes.
Because we were seeing like the drugs, we were seeing the bad part of it. Whether it was badass, like you wanted to be it was mainstream, hijacked by the mainstream.
While we're on that subject, in the 90s, when you had African American friends, or you watching the news how the CIA took and sold crack in the hood, and then you come to find out it was true. Why there was liquor stores, why there was crack in the hood, and it was done on purpose, and it turns out to be true.
Yeah, dude, that's what I'm saying, bro. It's always. Look, minorities have dominated the culture, bro. Like we're the ones that make shit cool. Mexicans, blacks, like we're the Chinese. We're the ones that fucking invest in whatever project it is. That's like Champion, right? Champion, bro. I remember coming out the brand Champion. It was like
really going back.
It was like, dude, you can't afford Nike, you can't afford Adidas. Like people would fucking make fun of you for a week. And now Champion is like fucking dope as fuck.
I'm glad you're talking about that.
I feel like that was Mexicans and black cultures making that shit dope again.
And I don't have all the answers, but you could see where, dude, now these pieces, because I threw I donated all my stuff. Now these pieces are ridiculously going for 200, 300, 500, whether it be a sweater or like those plastic, windbreakers that are Champion, anything throwback from the 90s.
Yeah.
What do you think about that, man? I never thought, you know what I mean?
Not supposed to either, bro. Dude, but nowadays, that's what I'm saying. It's just collectors. And then with the internet, it brought a lot more. It connected people. Look, the internet is great, bro. It serves a good purpose, but it can be a very negative thing too. But in that aspect of it, I think it connects people, collectors, people that are into the same shit. Like Pokemon cards, bro. Pokemon cards are you can sell that shit for $1 million. If I knew that was gonna happen, bro, I would have kept my folder.
I'm glad we're talking about.
And I'd be probably a millionaire right now.
One thing I did learn from the Hamptons is when you have Basquet, and then the other white guy before that, what was his name? Andy Warhol. So one thing I did learn from my wealthy friends is that the only reason some artists even go up, although they may suck, I'm not saying Basquet sucked, but the other guy would just copy and paste, let's be honest, is that it allows them to basically park their money and not be taxed.
Okay.
So if Victor, right now we're talking about art. If right now you sell me a bottle of Dos Equis and say that it's worth $500,000 because you say it is, and the same thing happens with horses, then I get to park my estate there. I have $500,000 right there because you gave me a receipt. So sometimes as regular folk, we look at things because a higher society has claimed it to be worth, but sometimes the worth is just to park your estate. And when we look at Frida Kahlo, that wasn't happening back then. And now even the Mona Lisa went up to I don't know how many millions, man. But sometimes things aren't what they appear to be in a short sentence.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that, man. And I don't know, it's because it's a different life form, dude. Like if you grow up,
Facts.
you grow up poor, you grow up in the hood, you know, you're not gonna understand that life unless you get a glimpse of it.
Correct.
You know, I think like I was watching this Kevin Hart and Jay-Z interview, and then Kevin Hart says that, dude. He's like, you know, you make it past the door, and you're so happy that you don't realize that there's a fucking other door over there.
Facts.
You know, and
That's beautiful to
you
hear,
know,
man. That's beautiful.
that is so fucking true, bro. Because so many times I felt like, oh, dude, I leveled up, you know, and then you're like, okay, you're good, and then you're like, oh shit, but there's another fucking level out here, you know, like.
Do you think that keeps you? Do you think a lot of people lose track of that, and that's why? Like, do you settle on your laurels, or should you always be humble and looking forward to that next door?
Well, that's the hard part of balancing it, bro, because usually to get something you have to give something, right?
Facts.
If not, you just take it, which is
Facts.
not the correct way to do it, right? So then I think you have to come to an agreement to where if I want something, I gotta give something. And sometimes it's hard, you know. Sometimes, for me at least, I found out that I wouldn't give up my morals, my values, you know. I did at one point and it felt shitty, you know, so I would never do that again. But I still want to move up in the world, you know. But I think there's a certain amount to where, like, nah, that's my line. There's always a line, you know, and you don't want to cross that line. There should always be a line.
Yes.
Of course, there's those guys that there is no line, and they're probably the fucking billionaires of the world, but then they fucking kill, they fucking, you know, screw over other people, and I think I wouldn't be comfortable with that.
I wouldn't be comfortable with that, and I'm not knocking them, but at the same time, it's like back in the day when it's no women, no kids, I was living by the border, that old saying. But it just and I'm not defending them, but it's just we don't work in that job where we haven't been faced with that situation.
Yeah.
So I can't say that they're evil people or whatever. What I will tell you is you've given me a lot to think about, and it's like me going back to New York now, and leaving my family, especially leaving my daughter, who means the world to me. And it's like I know it's for a purpose, because I don't want to settle, and I don't see myself working as a chef 9 to 5 when I'm 50, 60 or 70. But if I end up doing that, then I'm gonna be happy. But I'd rather be teaching and helping others come up, and do more with their lives and change people's lives, and at the end, I'm not gonna take anything,
Yeah.
If it's like the cactus, you look at the flowers blossoming out of it. I think if we're able to blossom, if I'm able to help out the younger people believe in themselves and know that they can make a difference, even if it's a simple plate of French fries and a burger, I think then I've done my job as an individual. But you talk about sacrifice, yeah, man. I mean, you get to see your kids and spend time with them.
Well, here's the thing about that, and I didn't mean to interrupt you, dude,
fine.
but I've always thought about, like, oh, I gotta spend time with my kids. But till recently, I've realized that it's not. I have a beautiful wife that takes care of my kids, bro. Okay, and I wouldn't want any other person in the world to watch my kids but her. But then I was like, oh, okay, cool. You know, I want to do that. I want to be there. I want to be there. I want to be there. But with a dad, bro, I've come to realize it's not about quantity. It's about quality. It's about when you do have them.
Exactly.
It has to be fucking lesson.
Dude, I think this is what the generation of women now don't understand. You know, when they have an individual, that a man that actually, like yourself, that has that instilled in them, that wants to put a lesson. I'm not saying that all men are like this. No, of course not.
And I'm not saying my way is correct.
No,
you know, like I'm just.
But what you're saying is enriching, and I think a lot of women lose track of that, and this is why we don't have a nucleus, whether it be African American or Mexican American. We're losing track of that, and it's not just about because I'm not the only one that says this, but if they didn't have any government help, a lot of single moms would be broke moms, and they would notice how much the father is needed in the home. Not something I learned later, and I'm glad you have it, and that's a regret I'm going to carry, is that I didn't learn about this till after I messed up. I'm not perfect,
Yeah, but it's not about it. Look, dude, we all messed up. I messed up too. Maybe differently, but the thing is to fucking better yourself, bro. The thing is to acknowledge, like, I fucked up.
Yeah.
Now, how the fuck am I gonna make it? Like, correct. You go to New York, bro. You're doing all this shit. You think, like, your daughter's gonna be like, oh, dude, my dad's a badass.
I hope one day she does, man. She can't see it right now, but I can still remember living at National and Piedras, and sometimes, like,
Central.
God help me, like, I want to change my life. I want to make an impact. And look at where I'm at now. Right now, I'm being interviewed by one of my great friends. Shout out to your mom. And I'm going back to New York. Like, I mean, to put it in perspective, it's like LeBron getting called back to the Lakers. It's like wow. All right. I wanted to be in the big leagues. All right, let's do this. And to be respected by Chef Chang Shuet, which I never thought I would get the opportunity. Another chef from Montauk who went to Top Chef on the Food Network, amongst other chefs, and also Chef Eric here at Sabor, Chef Adam, even Chef Jason. Like, to be recognized by other chefs, I never thought I would even be in this opportunity. Being a line cook, bro. Like, and it's been amazing. And I'm still gonna go for more. I just been humbled also to have homies that have a pizzerias in Brooklyn, and to even give me a shout out on Instagram, to even porn stars, which that's a whole nother thing. It's been an amazing life, and I'm still gonna get to do more. But most than that is just having this interview right now, because for me it means a lot.
What's the vibe, dude? It's a vibe. It's the vibe that you bring. It's the I'm gonna go to New York and like, dude. Not a lot of people can take those chances, bro. Not a lot of people are willing to, like. Yeah, I'm gonna fucking go.
I was scared the first time, bro.
It's a scary fucking thing.
My mom was like, you know what, go. And
we're running a little bit out of time.
Got it.
Right now, you're naming your chefs.
Yes.
I'm gonna ask you your top 5 chefs all time. Wow. Ramsay, whoever. Who, like.
Okay. Well, definitely Anthony Bourdain's on the first one. Okay.
Ooh, okay.
Okay. The Anthony Bourdain, and I have my own reasons why. And then Chef Escoffier, of course. Then after that, I'm gonna have to go with Gordon Ramsay, because I definitely have sometimes his attitude. Okay. And then Julia Child, Chef Julia Child, and then last but not least, the one that's really grounded me and got my head out of my ass is Chef Eric here at Sabor.
Nice.
To be humble, and I thank him for that, because that's what I needed. Just because I came back from New York and wanted to put my big what out there. He's like, nah, man, like, you got what it takes, but just be humble.
Okay.
So I can't thank him enough for that. And you know, he's born from Juarez. Now lives in El Paso. Simón, shout out Paritos. Waterfield. La Juarez.
Hey, dude, I'll say this. Like I told you earlier, best fucking experience I had dining, dude, is in Juarez, bro.
But we have to
dude,
be honest.
I fucking love it.
They don't make hourly wage. They have to work for it, and having to work for it, and know that it's not about you and your feelings, but it's about your kid or now that we're seeing it, taking care of your mom and dad because you have no one else to take care of them.
Yeah.
Once you put that first, and whatever religion you are or anything, once you put another person first, and you know that you're taking care of them, because that's the realities that we're facing now, is that we're gonna have to take care of our dad or mom, or even if we are, and you know, I'm noticing that with chefs now, and they still come in, they cook a great meal, and that's it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The sacrifices.
Because life is simple. We complicated ourselves.
Yes, we do.
Because of our fucking desires, because of our fucking whatever. All right, last question I have for you.
Go for it.
We already did top 5 chefs.
Yes.
I'm gonna do top 3 chef movies or shows.
Oh wow. Okay. So, definitely the guy that does like, he'll like set up. I just can't remember his name right now. But definitely, like, of course, stereotypical Hell's Kitchen. And then the second one is the other guy that just like randomly, he just sets up meals anywhere. I just can't remember the name of the show. But definitely Julia Child show made a huge impact for me as a kid, because as a kid I had Mr. Rogers, and then I had the dude that did the painting, and then Julia Child. That was my holy trinity right there.
Okay.
And you know, little interesting fact about Julia Child. My ex-boss had got to interview her for I don't know if it was the New York Times or somewhere, but she said that was the most interviewing Julia Child was the most like best interview she's ever had in her whole entire life. And a lot of people don't know this. Julia Child only cooked these meals in a little oven. Like, it's like half the size of the oven that we have now. And she was a tall woman. She was almost like 6 foot. But I would say definitely Hell's Kitchen, and then the other one I can't remember, with Robert Irvine, and it's like he has to cook a whole like meals out of random. Like even right now, like you have to set a burner, you know, cook some cactus, and you know, it's like
you gotta make something out of.
And honestly, that's embodying Escoffier. That's embodying, like, sometimes you have nothing, but you gotta work with it. Shut up, don't complain, and just work with it.
Okay, I'm gonna give you mine. So, The Bear. I don't know, dude. I fucking love that show, bro.
Let me just tell you.
It's because I've worked in the kitchen, and that atmosphere
I'm
of
glad
fucking.
you're mentioning it. Yes.
Yeah, wait, come on, what the fuck? Like, it's
Yes.
You feel the tension, the fucking.
Oh wow. Sean Hewitt. When the chef tells the guy that he should kill himself, or like the food is shit. It's not sometimes that they're being bullies, but they're pushing you to be more, to not be mediocre.
Yeah.
You know? And a lot of people may have seen that as being an asshole, but no.
It's because everybody's too soft. Too soft. Like, dude, I remember being a kid. Look, I grew up with uncles that were fucking machismo, you know?
Yeah.
And they fucking like, hey, what the fuck? No. Like, everybody's too soft now, bro.
Like when I was coming up, you know, my dad always made fun of me because I was fat, and I'm glad he did, you know, because that pushed me to, you know, all right, granted I'm not in the leanest position right now, but when you get bullied being a Mexican kid, by the time you make it, and that's why why are a lot of Mexicans working in these kitchens from Los Angeles to New York? Well, it's because when we get bullied as a kid, it's like by the time we get bullied by a chef, it's like, is that how you got, bro?
Cares, yeah.
Is that how you got, man?
It is,
Because even my mom said she should have aborted me when she was gonna have me, and my mom didn't mean that, but I know she meant that because I really pissed her off.
Yeah.
But by the time we get there, it's like, it's not how you got, chef. But you're like, all right, you swallow the pride, and this is why Mexican Americans are hired on the spot, and we're valued, and we're fought for, even in New York, man.
Yeah.
But one thing I did learn, and I will tell all the Mexican chefs coming up, don't be a stripper. That means don't go from place to place to place to place thinking you're gonna get paid more. No, loyalty pays off at the end. This is the only reason I'm going back to work, that I'm getting the opportunity to go back to work back in New York.
Gotcha. All right, brother. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you being
Victor.
here. You know, as always, all love here.
Same,
I want to thank the viewers for taking time to watch
Thank you,
this.
guys.
Long time coming, and thank you. Appreciate it. Anything else you want to say? Last minute here.
I just want to say, put your plates in the corner for the server. And women, know what you want to eat. Don't let us guys guess, and when we go to eat, don't say, oh, this is not what I wanted, but anyway, that's a joke. I just want to thank the viewers and everybody watching this, from the bottom of my heart. Make every meal make a difference and put love into it. That's a secret that any chef, from even Gordon Ramsay, will tell you. That's our secret. And I would say, what do you call that? A secret ingredient. Just love, man. Just love.
Yeah.
That's it.
All right. Thank you guys.
Thank you guys.
Love y'all.
Appreciate you.